And we're live. Okay, it is Car Con Carne, sponsored by C&H Financial Services. Business owners, we are stuck in quarantine. Really, this is quarantine Con Carne for right now. But at some point, it's looking like sooner than we expected, the world will slowly begin to migrate out again and patronize your places of business. And when that happens, you're going to want C&H Financial Services on your side because you can eliminate 100% of the fees associated with accepting credit and debit cards. C&H Financial Services. Remember this website, freeprocessingnow.com, or call 855-600-2437, extension 999, so you can start saving money when this gets back to normal. So it is Quarantine Con Carne. It's Car Con Carne. My guest tonight from Belvanie Whiskey, it's Naomi Leslie. Hello. Thank you for joining me. I want to talk all about Belvanie, but first, I want you to explain where you are.
So I'm usually in New York City, the East Coast ambassador for the Belvanie. My family, I come from a lovely Western Massachusetts hippie family. There's the best humans on earth. And my parents live full-time on a sailboat in Boston Harbor. And so once the New York City situation started to get a little out of control, they came and scooped me up about a month ago and brought me here. So I am on isolation on a sailboat in
You are
Boston.
living on a boat in Boston Harbor.
Living on a boat in Boston Harbor.
Isn't it cold right now?
The boat heats up. We have a heater on board. It's quite toasty. Also, it's, I will say, larger than most New York City apartments. So it's
okay. That's fair.
An adjustment than I expected.
I believe that's probably true. And it looks like, if you're going to be in quarantine on a boat in Boston Harbor, being quarantined with several bottles of whiskey is probably the way to go. That's probably the pro move.
Oh yeah, got the good stuff for sure, which my family loves as well, so it's beneficial as well.
Oh yeah, you definitely landed well career-wise as far as ingratiating yourself to the nuclear extended families. Talk a little bit about all the different types of whiskey you have behind you, because the full list of what Belvanie has is pretty extensive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have quite a bit here. I have so the Doublewood 12 and Caribbean Cask 14, which are part of like our core range, kind of our like main bodies. I have the 12 and 14 from our Stories range, which focuses on stories from the distillery. Then I have some single barrels here, so a little bit of that, 12 and a 15. And I have our Doublewood 17, which is just a treat bottle. So
I want to say hi to Jimmy, who just joined us on Facebook Live. Yes, great whiskey, he says.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
He's a man of impeccable taste. So, all right, if someone has not jumped into what you have to offer, what's the good like baseline starting whiskey?
Yeah, so the one you're going to want to try, which is just like the love of my life, is our Doublewood 12. It's based on the Belvanie Classic. The light's kind of bright. You can't see the label well.
There we go.
Doublewood. There we go. So this is like the heart and soul of our line. Really, truly incredible whiskey. So it gets 12 full years in American oak ex bourbon barrels, and then gets moved for an extra couple months into European oak ex sherry casks. So from that, you're going to get the vanilla, the honey, the caramel from the bourbon. Then you're going to a little bit of that kind of savory, rich, nutty spiciness from the European oak. So it's a really lovely combination.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
So once this whole quarantine thing is over and we have all of our friends back over, what are we celebrating with?
Oh God. So I think a perfect celebratory whiskey, honestly, is this Doublewood 17 I mentioned, because this one was actually released. So David Stewart, our malt master, has been with us now for almost 58 years with the company. So the most experienced malt master in Scotch history. He's incredible. And when can
you imagine holding a job for 58 years?
It's absolutely insane. I mean,
let alone malt master. That's the gig right there. That's the title. I am the malt master.
Absolutely incredible. Like, we released 50-year whiskeys that he helped with putting in the cask 50 years ago. Like, and he saw it through to the end. Just absolutely insane.
So, all right. So you've got that. I interrupted you.
No, all good. But essentially, when he hit his 50th anniversary with the company, they asked him what he wanted to release as a celebratory whiskey. And this is what he decided to create and release. So our Doublewood 17. It's super lively, super feisty. It definitely is a celebratory kind of whiskey.
Super feisty in what way?
It's very spice forward. So it's lots of like black pepper, ginger, cinnamon, cardamom. I'm a big cigar smoker, and this is my absolute favorite with a cigar because it has that like really bright, spice forward, lively side that can hold up to that.
So do you need to be more veteran of a whiskey drinker to really enjoy that?
No, which I think is the amazing thing about most of our line in general is it's it's really smooth and rich across the board, so it can help draw in people who are a little bit nervous or timid about the Scotch category as a whole. But at the same time, they're all complex enough and have so much depth that they're also widely ranging fan favorites of whiskey aficionados. So it kind of hits every corner of the market in that way.
I want to thank Katie and Doug and Edmund and Debbie and Denise and Molly Jean for all joining us on the Facebook Live right now. It is Quarantine Con Carne. Have you been, I'm guessing as brand ambassador, you've been to the distillery?
I get to go quite a bit, which is one, a treat, but also really important. You know, we do everything by hand still at the Belvanie in a super old school way, like growing and malting our own barley. We have our own cooperage on site where we build our own barrels. We have our copper pot stills are still made by hand. And when you're an ambassador, they expect you to have worked every one of those shifts, to try every one of those things, so that when we're talking about the whiskey, we're not just telling someone else's story. We're actually, we've experienced it ourselves.
So what's that indoctrination like? Do you have to do like blind tastings? So they put you in a corner with a blindfold and put a bunch of glasses in front of you and you have to be able to identify everything?
Yeah, it's intense always. I mean, I've been probably 5 times now. But the first one is the most intense. That's the one where they like really throw you in head first. You work everything, these crazy shifts, these crazy days. You're also, jet lagged and haven't slept and all these things. But the big day, the really important day, is you go and spend a day with David Stewart, the malt master, and help him in his tasting room. So that's the really kind of big induction day.
As an East Coast American, do you feel like they wanted you to prove yourself? You don't have a Scottish accent. You're from America. Did you have to like go above and beyond to establish that you are the representative they need for Scotch?
Yeah, I'm still flabbergasted and surprised and so grateful on a daily basis. I'm the only American on our global ambassador team, so I'm just honored that they even thought I was worthy. I will say, I think it's more the Scottish people don't really care that I'm not Scottish, but I think American people get really disappointed that I don't have a Scottish accent when I go into tastings.
I believe that's probably true.
Yeah.
Is whiskey with water a sin, or is it forgivable?
Oh God, no. I mean, if you go to a pub in Scotland, 90% of the guys in there are ordering their whiskey and you get a pitcher of water next to it. They all put a splash of water.
So same thing, whiskey on the rocks, that's fair game.
Yeah, I mean, whiskey on the rocks is when you cool a spirit down, when you chill it. I mean, the same concept as if you put a bottle of wine in the fridge, right? It's gonna almost like shrink up those flavor molecules, so you're gonna get a little bit less complexity. So I love like a good Scotch on the rocks in the summertime. Don't get me wrong, like absolute favorite. But if I'm trying a whiskey for the first time, or it's a really complex whiskey that I'm trying to get the most out of it I can, I tend to go neat or a splash of water, room temp.
Got it. Let's talk cocktails.
Yeah.
Because I know you've got nothing but time on your sailboat to mix up some drinks.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
What are you going to make for us?
Yeah, so I started this series. So I come from the cocktail world before this job. So I was with some cocktail bars in New York City. And one thing I found is I usually, when I would do big cocktail tutorial videos, I would do these really really complex, really nerdy, super intense cocktail videos, which were cool to the really nerdy cocktail people like me.
Right.
But
for those of us, especially sheltering at home right now, we want simplicity. We don't want complex and nerdy.
100%. And so this really came from necessity because I was afraid of the grocery store and didn't want to go out there and get those crazy ingredients. So I started trying to come up with recipes where you can make it pretty much no matter what you have on hand. So that's like how I got started with this. So I've been calling it Use What You've Got Cocktails on my Instagram, which is Rogue Barkeep Belvanie, if you're interested. So I started this series with all different cocktail recipes that are super easy to make no matter what you have, almost more of templates than recipes. So every ingredient has lots of subs.
Got it.
Yeah. So today, the one I want to make you is my Use What You've Got whiskey sour, which is great because super easy to sub in things. So a whiskey sour is going to be citrus, sweetener, spirit. So, so first of all, for citrus.
No egg?
What'd you say?
No egg?
Oh, I have an egg white actually. Yeah. So absolutely. You can add a little bit egg white for texture. Not flavor. Don't worry. People get freaked out sometimes when I say that. So egg white just adds this really fluffy texture. It's called a traditional whiskey sour when you add egg white.
Although eggs are kind of precious right now during the time
Yeah.
of quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
They're tough to part with.
Yeah. So even today I used, so I made the egg white and then my mother was baking. So I gave her the egg yolk to help brush on the bread. So we're making do using
Nothing wasted.
nothing wasted. Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So you have in your hands.
Yes. So this is fresh lemon juice. So the thing with the lemon juice is if you can't get your hands on fresh lemons, you can buy the canned stuff. Obviously, fresh is better, but we're going to do what we can at this crazy time. The cool thing, though, is if you do get to the grocery store for one like big grocery run at like, every week or so, if you buy a lot of lemons and juice them in bulk, it freezes super well. So you can save up and not have to go back. So I bought a ton of lemons, froze it, and then take out what I need.
Smart.
So yes, this is about an ounce of lemon I'm putting in. And then for sweetener, like a million options. I made a simple syrup with cane sugar and water. So 2 parts sugar to 1 part water over heat until the sugar dissolves. If you don't want to make that or don't feel like making that or anything like that, you can use, maple syrup. You can mix some honey with a little bit of water. You can use agave. I mean, there are so many options in your cabinet to do that. So I'm using about 3/4 ounces of this. Depending on how sweet you like your drink or what sweetener you're using, I would kind of adjust that to taste. But yeah, so that's the sweetener. And then for spirit, obviously I'm using some Belvanie. Yeah. So whiskey sour, is fun. One thing you can do though that's kind of cool if you are running low on something or if you just want to mix it up is do a split base. So you can split, it's usually about 2 ounces you want for spirit for the base for a classic. And if you're running low on your favorite whiskey or something, you can split that with, another type of whiskey, with a rum, with a cognac. You really can get like pretty creative with the split base. So,
that's also good to know because I suspect a lot of people's bottles are reaching the end at this point.
Exactly, 100%. So I was actually doing a tutorial live the other day and like hit the end of my bottle and suddenly had to like come up with something in the middle of it to be like, of course I meant to do this a split base. Like it's everyone's kind of making do right now. So for this one, I was going to do just for fun a split base. This is that 12 double, what I was saying, the heart and soul of our line, American oak and sherry oak, really beautiful, rich. So I was going to do an ounce of that. And then for a little bit of fun, for those of you watching or listening, if you like smoky whiskey, peated whiskey, so the majority of our line is mostly unpeated, just a hint of peat. So you're only going to get a touch of smoke for those. But we have one expression called the week of peat, 14-year-olds, which is our one really peated expression. So if you wanted to add a touch of smoke to something, this is a really cool addition to a cocktail. So I was doing a split base with this.
Right. And that way you're not fully committing.
Yeah, it's like, a touch of smoke without kind of smothering the rest of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is looking good so far, and I'm just looking at bar tools. Yeah.
I was about to add an egg white. So like he said, if you have an egg white you can spare or you want to try this, it doesn't add a flavor. Like I said, people get kind of freaked out. It adds this fluffy texture. So you can add an egg white in. If not, it's totally fine without one. Don't stress about that. It's just a cool texture thing.
But if you think about this, you've got lemon juice, you've got an egg white, you've got protein and citrus. This is really what you're doing is healthy.
Oh, God.
You're doing us a favor as we're in quarantine. This is really a good for you. This is like one of those shakes you have at the gym.
I won't disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Got to tell ourselves what we need to during this crazy time.
Without a doubt.
Oh, yeah. So essentially, though, if you do add an egg white, do a quick dry shake, which means a shake without ice, real quick before you add the ice. That's important. So just that really helps with the texture of the breakdown of the egg white.
Got it.
Yeah. So then you're going to add your ice. So depending on the quality of your ice at home, I will say, adjust your shake time because these can become super, if you have like lower quality, like regular fridge ice, which is fine, what most of us have, just don't shake too long because it'll get super watery and over diluted. So just be hard and quick.
That's a good pro tip right there.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I want to thank Dan and Justin and Chris and Aaron and Santi and Tommy for all joining us on Facebook Live. Thank you for watching. Thanks for spending your night watching this. I know you had other things and places to be and do, or not. There you go.
Oh,
We're almost there.
All right.
I can't believe you're on a boat.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all fascinating. I love learning about the whiskey, but knowing that you're spending quarantine on a boat is just fascinating to me.
It honestly is. It's been funny. I've been on a couple of live interviews and some of them on like TV and stuff. And we end up getting so distracted by the boat thing that my boss after is like, did you even mention Belvanie? What was that interview? And I'm like, oh God. So the boat thing is fascinating to everyone, including myself.
Oh, look at that. Can you hold it up to your webcam?
Beautiful. So here I have my whiskey sour. Speaking of a boat, I don't have any beautiful coupe glasses on hand.
That's good enough.
You know, looks great. And then I was going to garnish it. So traditionally with a whiskey sour, you garnish it with some Angostura bitters, which is delicious. If you don't have those in hand, or if you just want to get creative and kind of mix it up, one fun thing to do is actually raid your spice cabinet. So this is delicious if you top it with some cinnamon, nutmeg, turmeric. I've done black pepper before, like really anything you want to play with. Today
that makes sense, and it would not have occurred to me. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's fun, you know, and especially like if you mix it up and use like maple syrup as your sweetener, putting some cinnamon on top is amazing. You know, there's tons of ways to mix it up.
I'm learning so much from you. And maple syrup, it's like a breakfast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's a quarantine breakfast.
10 a.m. whiskey sour maple syrup.
Why not? Got the citrus, got the maple syrup.
There you go.
I've learned so much from you.
Yeah.
All right. So I hope we all get out of this soon. I hope that you can walk on land again at some point soon. And then for more information, the website is?
So these are on my Instagram, which is Rogue Barkeep Belvanie with underscores between the words. My name's Naomi Leslie.
Yes, it is. And thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for watching on Facebook Live. Thank you, David, who just checked in. I cannot wait to grab one of those off the shelf. This seems kind of cruel, actually. I shouldn't have done this tonight.
Let's enjoy this right here real quick.
All right, what's the verdict?
Oh, damn good, truly.
Damn good. All right, I'm going to kill the Facebook Live. Thank you for watching, everybody.